187 Detroit's Homicide. You listen to Mike and Tyler. Cae now. Órale, vida la loca.
People walk around the world and keep your hands to yourself. To the point, 'cause you know I won't be listening long.
Well, we are live, pals, and welcome to another edition of Count It Out with Mike and Tyler. My name is Tyler, and coming to you from the Motor City, you'll get it in a second, is always my good friend, Mr. Mike Mojito. What's shaking, brother?
I'd like to be Motor City Mike from now on.
Motor City Mike in the house.
I have no interest in going to Detroit ever in my life, but
I've been, you're not missing much.
But as long as Shelly and Saban are from there, I'll be Motor City Mike any day of the week.
So I guess what we're talking about here, Mike and I last night, we as of recording this, so this would have been last Sunday, we attended Destiny Wrestling as they presented their homecoming show, and it was great.
The first show under the new management, under the new ownership, app title Homecoming. It was really this gentleman named Emilio really wanted to bring it home and show this new product that he wants to create, and it was a good first outing, I'd say, and we were really, really happy to be there. Really, we felt really welcome, did we not? Like, I don't want to speak for you, but man, we went in and we've been to a few shows with a few different promotions, and listen, and in my years of doing this shit, I know a lot of promoters, and 99% of the promoters I know, and I don't blame them all, I would be the same way, but they're too busy to fucking give you the time of day. Okay, even when we go to the Barry shows, like good luck getting 2 minutes of Sean. Sean's a busy motherfucker. So that's what I expected. We never met Emilio before. I didn't expect him to say boo to us. Man, he sat down with us during the matches. He watched some of the matches with us. He shot the shit with us. He was so cool. He was very giving. Really, really brought us into his new formed family. And I it's only been one show so far, but I can say that I really see a good future with us and Destiny Wrestling.
Yeah, I had a great time at the show. Unfortunately, I had to sit beside George McKay from Straight Talk Wrestling. He's the worst. Shout out to George. But no, we had a great time.
Shout out to George. This is his test right here. He claims to listen to our show. We'll see. We'll see, George.
Now, to be fair, he said, I don't listen to all of your shows. And that's fair because I don't listen to all his shows either. But I had a great time at the show, though. It was so nice to see so many familiar faces, some guys we haven't seen in a while. Love running into Big Kirk Warmack.
On the book, man.
Yeah, I loved running into Big Kirk Warmack. That was a great surprise. Always great seeing Travis Moore. I love Travis. Yeah. Big Isaiah Cross was there. Got to shoot the shit with Clay Wilson a little bit. We caught up with Crystal Moon and Brother Earth for a bit. Just a great atmosphere. We ended up sitting down, and you'll hear on this show, actually, a short interview that we did with Blake Christian. We also got to chat with the interview queen herself, Alicia Atut. And Mike, you got to shoot shit with Warhorse a little bit. Unfortunately, we didn't get the interview in with him, but
that's coming. We will get Warhorse on here in the next few months. I have no doubt of that. But it was really nice to go up and shake his hand and talk to him a bit. And Warhorse seems like a really cool guy. It was nice to see him work. He worked Shane Saber, which was a great match. Good way to open the card. And Saber as well as a guy we need to get on here one of these days. Saber, there's two guys who were at the card last night that I still can't believe we haven't had on the show. Not just because they're cool guys, but because they are an unstoppable wealth of knowledge when it comes to this business. And I don't just mean wrestling. I mean indie wrestling. And that's a whole different animal if you know what I'm talking about. You can know wrestling. There's a whole different beast underneath when you're talking about indie wrestling. And the two guys that we really need to talk one day, we've had some really awesome indie wrestlers on here, but Shane Saber's one of those guys, and the other one's Rip Impact. Rip Impact. I don't know if there's anybody more knowledgeable about the Ontario indie scene than Rip himself.
Yeah, I had a nice little chat with Rip yesterday. It's always good to see Rip. And of course, the big news already, I'm going to just go ahead and say this already. An early contender for Match of the Year 2023. Slider Fight, which is Von Vertigo and Gabriel Fuerza going up against Motor City Machine Guns. January 29th, I believe, is the date for that. That's going to be a great match. Make sure to check that out.
The show is called A New Beginning. Very apt title for their first show of the year. But that's not all, man. That's not all. The Motor City Machine Guns versus Destroy, which is going to be amazing. But then you have Casey Spinelli, who got a really quick win over our girl Alexia Nicole last night, earning her a spot to face the quintessential diva herself, Giselle Shaw, at that same January 29th show. Man, that's a huge show.
But before we get to January 29th, we have December the 10th. This Saturday, Barrie Wrestling presents Christmas Slamley Reunion. If you guys want to hear all about that show, head over to our YouTube page. Up right now is a preview show I did with commentary team of Mike Jeffries making his return for one of our previews, and making his debut, Diamond Jim Lowe. We had a lot of fun previewing the card. That is over at the Counted Out 7 YouTube page. Make sure to subscribe. And
as of an hour ago right now, it's officially on www.countedout7.com, which is freshly updated.
You updated that thing?
I sure did.
Holy shit. It's a Christmas miracle. But I can't wait for Barrie. I will be doing the ring announcing. So if you guys are in the area, come by and lend some support. But it's going to be a great show from top to bottom. We have the whole preview, almost an hour long on our YouTube page. So if you want a complete breakdown with two of the guys that know the most about Barrie Wrestling, head on over and check it out.
Man, Sean's got his work cut out for him. If he wants to get a late entry for show of the year, he himself has put on a bunch of great shows this year. Then you have the show we saw just last night, Destiny Wrestling. But if anybody could do it, it's Sean Gibson, man. It's Barrie Wrestling. Barrie Wrestling is on fire the last 3 years. Like there's no stopping this company.
Especially like, not that Barrie, I've never been to a Barrie Wrestling show where I left and was like, oh man, that was just okay. Like every show they put on is a home run, but there's just been something real magical about the last 4 shows. They just like continue to get better and better. And, Kevin Blackwood's going to be on this card, which is exciting. Yeah. And I'm just super excited to be there and watch this one.
And if you don't know what we're talking about, you can go back. You can watch these last couple shows, including going all the way back 1 year ago when they did their doubleheader Christmas show, one of the funnest shows we ever attended. You can watch all those shows at IWTV. You can get the IWTV app or go to independentwrestling.tv.
Let's switch gears to a big announcement that happened over the weekend as well, and that is your boys over at GCW, Mike, coming over to this side of the border, Montreal and Toronto.
Listen, if I'm going to credit my boys, I'm going to credit my boys, and I'm not talking about GCW. I got to credit my boy Drew Walsh, good friend of the show, loyal listener, friend of ours from Ottawa. He attended this IWS show. And he was texting me throughout the show because he was lucky enough to meet Jay White earlier that night, and he was stoked from that. And I know he was really stoked to see Vince Dorado that night, and he was really excited. And then I get this text from him. He's like, "Oh fuck, what's going on?" And he tells me that they just showed this video, and then he sent me the video of Nick Gage himself up on the screen at IWS, claiming that the GCW and Nick Gage's fucking gang were coming to Montreal. They were coming to IWS. And of course, only an hour later, the official announcement was made that not only are they going to Montreal, IWS versus GCW is also doing a show right here in our backyard, Toronto, at the Opera House. So in the span of a week, they are going to be doing the Olympic Stadium in Montreal and the Opera House in Toronto. 2 extremely different venues, very different venues from each other. But I think it's so cool. I think the venue choices are very interesting. The fact that GCW is coming to Canada to tie it up with some of Canada's best I can't believe we haven't gotten a cum-soaked fucking phone call from our boy Ben Ortmans. Big GCW fan, big Nick Gage fan, and a loyal member of IWS.
Very well put, Mike. Very graphic. I'm excited for this one, man. I definitely think I'm going to try to hit up that GCW show in Toronto. I think the Opera House is I don't know if it's big enough, but it's definitely got the right atmosphere for it. If you want to see that announcement, you can head over to the Counted Out Twitter page at Counted Out 7. The video is posted there. Thank you again for sending that in. That was awesome. Going to be fun times, man. You know what? The Toronto area, the GTA area, Ontario in general, big shows coming in the new year, man. Not only do we have GCW now, we've got Destiny and Barry, and of course Impact Wrestling coming. WWE is coming at the end of the year. Like Toronto's rolling right now, man. We're really picking up steam.
Yeah, and let's Toronto, of course, but also Montreal. Montreal's gonna be home to the Elimination Chamber, which is really fucking cool. I don't think they've ever hosted that event before.
No.
Yeah, very cool stuff for Canada coming up in 23, man.
Yeah, I'm excited for it, man. I'm definitely excited for it, and wrestling's hot right now, with the exception maybe AEW.
Before we get on to your list. We just talked about some really exciting stuff. Can I take a second to talk about something that kind of pissed me off today?
Nah, let's move on to the list. Yeah.
News broke early this morning that unfortunately, Hall of Famer Barry Windham suffered a very bad heart attack and is in critical condition in the hospital right now. So of course, our love, our prayers, our condolences to the Windham family. But here's what kind of pissed me off, man. It didn't take very long. Mike Rotunda himself put up a what do you call it? GoFundMe. And it took minutes for piece of shit fucking wrestling fans to start going, why the fuck should wrestling fans have to pay this? Bray Wyatt can afford that. Put it on Bray Wyatt. It's his fucking uncle. Make Bray Wyatt pay for it.
I didn't see any of that.
Dude, I saw too much of it, and it really pissed me off. You missed the fucking point, people. Like, number one, you don't know that Bray Wyatt could afford that. You're assuming what he makes a year. Not only you're forgetting that he was off work for like 2 years, you're also forgetting that he's got children, he's got bills, he's got shit. We don't know what he can and cannot afford. But it's not even the point. Mike Rotunda needed help. Rather than call up his son and be like, hey man, give me $1 million, he did the best thing he could do, and that was put up a GoFundMe. Now it's up to somebody like Bray or somebody else to pony up the money if they can. If they can't, can you? I don't have $1 million. Do you? I don't have. You know what I mean? I can't fucking save Barry Windham's life. Don't assume that anybody else can or should. That really pissed me off today. And we missed the whole point to the whole fucking thing.
Well, the whole point of the thing is like let's hope that Barry Windham recovers. You know what I mean? Like exactly. That's the biggest thing. And for anyone to make any type of a negative comment over any type of a tragedy, not just this one in particular, but anything, like just get a life, guys. You know what I mean? Like people don't understand how awesome a thing like Twitter can be if you just stop being a dick. You know what I mean? Like, right. Seriously, Twitter. I've had great interactions with people on Twitter. I've had fun conversations. And then, of course, you just get these like keyboard warriors that just talk this shit. Like, if I was a famous person, the last thing I would want to do is get Twitter because of people like that.
100%.
You know what I mean? But
now with that said, some of the famous people are the problem. But
yeah, but I mean, like, I'm talking about the wrestling community. You know what I mean? Like, we've met enough wrestlers over our life period. They're great guys, most of them, and great girls. You know what I mean? And
a lot of them
are, and I'm not going to say everybody is. It's just like human beings. We're not all great people, but a lot of the people in the wrestling community love their fans. And I'm sure they would love to interact with their fans, except for all these garbage people.
But you make it real fucking hard, man.
Right? That's just like
real fucking hard.
How bad is your life that you have to try to bring other people down? You know what I mean? Like, guys, life is too short to be so hateful. You know, It's wrestling. Take it for what it is. Enjoy it. And if you don't like something, don't watch it. But we don't need to hear you talking down to all these people. We've seen so much negativity with that. Hana Kimura was a tragedy. Like, that could have been avoided. You know what I mean? Like, there's no need. Chill out, everybody.
But nobody wants to take responsibility for that shit, right? It's not. It's never your fault. It's never our fault. No. Anyways, I didn't mean to make that a downer. It just really pissed me off, and I needed to rant off in a minute.
Yeah, I feel you, man.
Speaking of Barry Windham, he's been in a war game or two.
Yeah, that's the list I'm going to do this week. I went and rewatched all the NXT.
I think he was in one of my favorite war games.
He's been in.
Was he the one? Was he in the one where Steve Austin bled like a fucking stuck pig?
Who do you think made Steve Austin bleed like a stuck pig?
Wasn't it Barry?
Yeah, Barry and Steve were number 1 and 2. Okay. War Games 92.
That's what I thought.
Well, we're not going to be talking about that today because we're talking about the WWE's renditions of War Games. I went back and rewatched all of them, and I'll get into my thoughts on the actual War Games matches,
including this year's.
They are up for grabs on the list.
Okay.
And I'll go a little bit more detail on that in just a minute. But what do you think? Should we treat the listeners with a little interview right now?
I think we should do a little Blake Christian, little all heart.
Yeah, we got the opportunity to have a quick conversation, probably about 5 to 8 minutes with Blake Christian at the Destiny show here, and I don't think you need me to describe it for you. Let's just let the interview speak for itself. So here we go.
Let's do it.
All right, we are live here, Destiny Wrestling. My name is Tyler. I am joined by the one and only Blake Christian. Blake, man.
I'm excited to be here at Destiny. I'm excited to be my first time in Toronto. Not my first time in Canada, but my first time in Toronto, my first time at Destiny. I'm super excited for my match tonight. So yeah, I'm feeling really good.
Man, you're all over the place right now. You are setting the world on fire. You've worked in so many of the major promotions. Which promotion do you think that you've been with so far that they've truly like understood you and let you shine the most and just get that true version of yourself out there?
I think maybe probably GCW. GCW took a chance on me back before I blew up, and then GCW's always been a home for me, always giving me great matches, always giving me a good spot, always let me be myself. So I'm almost certain that Game Changer Wrestling is the one.
Now, I want to keep on that GCW topic for a little bit here because I love the work that you're doing there. As a matter of fact, the time that we're recording this, just last night, they announced their Toronto debut and Montreal debut. How big of a step is this for GCW? Can we maybe expect to see you on these cards coming forward?
100% probably going to see me on the cards. Yeah, man, it's big for GCW because GCW is going everywhere. The UK, Mexico, Japan, they're going everywhere. So it was only a matter of time before Canada got added to the mix. So it's definitely huge for them. It's huge for an independent wrestling company to do so. But yeah, it's a big step for them.
Now, a big part of GCW, of course, is Nick Gage. What's your interaction like with Nick Gage? How has he been with you? How is he in the locker room, rallying the troops together? What's it like to be around Nick Gage in general?
Nick Gage is he's what you see. Like, the character that he brings out to the ring is what you see. Every time he's watched my matches before, matter of fact, when he's not wrestling on the show, he watches the entire show. He's always the first person that you go before you go out there. He's the first person to congratulate or give you luck or whatever, tell you to kill it. And when you come back, he's the one that congratulates you, tell you how good you did and this and that. He's always hyping up the locker room. He is a true definition of a locker room leader in GCW.
Now, we get to see so much of your great in-ring work showcased every month at GCW and at every show, but you've got to have a little bit of fun in the last couple months, too, working with Matt Cardona, getting to show a different side of you there. How much fun have you been having working with Cardona and Chelsea, and just how creative and hands-on is Matt and all the stuff that he does? Because everything he's touching has turned into gold lately.
No, everything that Matt is involved in, he's always very hands-on. He wants it to be to the best that he could do it. So working with Matt has been it's been a blessing, Obviously, he suffered an injury that was unfortunate, but I mean, it only helped our story that we had. So a very, very unfortunate event that, I wish didn't happen, but even though it did, he put his hands to it, he put his mind to it, and we made the best that we could out of it. So Matt and Chelsea, they're truly a blessing, and their minds are really good for this business, and I was blessed to be a part of it for sure.
Absolutely. I see you're wearing the ECW hat there. How cool was it for you being part of that Hammerstein show earlier this year, getting to be in those legendary venues?
Oh man, the Hammerstein was definitely a great moment for me. You know, I just got released from WWE, and it was a moment that I could truly show in front of a large crowd like that to show what I'm made of. You know, me and Leo have killed it so many times, but I think that match specifically is our best match that we've ever had. And to do it at the Hammerstein and to do it with Leo, honestly, you know, I was supposed to wrestle for the Ring of Honor World Championship, which would have been cool in the Hammerstein Ballroom, but even though that didn't work out, I'm happy that it was me versus Leo in the Hammerstein.
So the last question I want to ask you, as the year 2022 is coming to an end, what can we expect to see from you out of 2023? What are some of the goals?
Major goal of mine, it's always been a goal of mine, even before I started wrestling, is the Best of Super Juniors. I'm going to work my ass off to get to that point. So yeah, that's my overall top goal, 100%.
Awesome, man. Well, we want to thank you so much for the time. Best of luck to you in the next year, man. And on behalf of Tyler, we've been counted out. Well, Mike, that was probably the first time that you actually heard any of that interview because it was so loud when we were recording it.
I was videotaping it, and when we were done, you looked at me and said, "Was that okay?" I'm like, I don't know. I didn't hear a fucking word.
But definitely a great conversation there. And you know what? How about next week? We play our interview with Alicia Toot, the interview queen. What do you think of that?
That I would love. Man, let me tell you something. I'm jealous. When we went in, we were hoping to get a minimum of 4 interviews. And the 4 big ones anyways. And we said, all right, let's split it up. And you asked me flat out, if you had to pick 2 of the 4, who do you want to interview? And I was honest with you. I said Warhorse and Steve Macklin. Those are the 2 I would like. And you were cool with that. And you said, yeah, I actually really want to do Alicia. So and then you said
Phrasing,
you want to do I stick by my words. And then you said that you were interested in Blake Christian as well. So it worked out. Well, what didn't work out is I didn't end up getting interviews with Warhorse or Steve Macklin. Steve was an extremely busy guy. I didn't even get to talk to Steve. He did his match, really fun match, by the way. And then bounced. But then, like I said, I was able to talk to Warhorse a little bit. We were supposed to interview him, but then our interview with Alicia too happened at the same time. It just all didn't work out. It's fine. I will end up talking to Warhorse one day, and fingers crossed I'll talk to Steve Macklin one day. Yeah, but you were the lucky man. You got both your interviews, Blake Christian today, and then next week you'll listen to Alicia too, who was not only a great interview, but what a fucking sweetheart.
Oh man,
I loved her so much.
She was so nice, and she gave us so much great advice too, because you know, she's definitely someone, I don't know about you, I won't speak on your behalf, but I really look up and admire the work she's done. Sure. You know, Toronto girl, just like, you know, we're Torontonians here, and just the success that she's built herself, like it's a real inspiration, and what a nice girl. Like
I put Alicia awesome. I put Alicia on the same pedestal that I do Renee Paquette.
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect and a lot of admiration for Renee Paquette because of, you know, where she came from, how she built herself up, and where she is now. And I see Alicia the same way, except she went in a bit of a different direction. While they both kind of stuck with wrestling, Renee kind of went the sports way. She did some NHL stuff, she did ESPN stuff, did some NFL stuff, where Alicia stuck with wrestling and she went to some music stuff. She's currently working with Knotfest, which is fucking amazing. And, you know, she did a lot of other work with music stuff. So they both had a very similar yet very different career. But in the same breath, in the same vein, I respect and I admire them both for what they've done. Not only as a human being, but as a podcaster, as a broadcaster, as somebody who wants to do what they do. They are, I put them on that list of the Bill Apters. I put that on the list of the Chris Van Vliets and the John Pollocks. They're on there for me of people who inspire me to do what I want to do.
Yeah, you know, and I'll speak on a personal standpoint here. Like, there's a couple people that do inspire me and that I've looked up to in our journey doing this. And, you know, Alicia
not George McKay.
Not George McKay, no. Okay. No. Screw you, George McKay.
Sorry, George.
See, George, and you said Mike was the good one, eh? But there are a few people that I've really looked up to and admired, and I've used as inspiration. And one of them being Alicia Toot, who I was so fortunate to get to interview, and the other people were from Post Wrestling, John Pollock and Wei Ting. It'd be really cool if I could talk to Post Wrestling. Maybe we should stick around for the year-end show. Bro, the year-end show, by the way, everybody, I'm not going to say who we have coming on it. All I'm going to say is it's going to be fucking awesome, bro. All right? That's all I'm going to say about the year-end show.
Listen, we already released an excerpt from that interview, so people know that Russo's on the show. All right, let's not treat our audience like they're idiots.
We got 7 great guests this year, though. This is I didn't think we were going to be able to top last year, and I think we might have. I
didn't think so. We went overboard this year. I didn't think we could top the year we had with the end of the year. You know what I mean? Like when you talk to Eric Bischoff and Dory Funk and Jordan Grace in the matter of fucking 3 months. What do you do at the end of the year? Oh, you get Wei Ting and Vince Russo and
hey, we didn't say
Tom Hannafin.
Who? We're not saying all this stuff yet. It's a secret, bro. Yes, our year-end show is going to be awesome. I'm very excited for it. I'm working incredibly hard at editing and putting everything together.
We'll keep Van Landen a surprise.
Okay, but don't tell them about Jonah or Adam, because I'm going to be furious if it all leaks out, all right? See, that's like the WWE is so creative, bringing Bray Wyatt back and like doing these big video packages. That's about as creative as we get on Count It Out.
Yeah, 100%. We are the Tony Khan of fucking celebrity guests.
Oh shit!
All right. Do you want to talk about some war games?
Kind of. Yeah.
Are these war games?
They are. They are.
Yeah. Are they though? Are they? Okay. Can I ask you a question before we get into this?
Yes.
Think in your head, okay, of your 7 favorite War Games matches ever.
Yeah.
Are we going to talk about any of those matches today?
Like including the old ones?
Yes, your favorite War Game matches ever. Are we going to talk about any of those matches today?
I would maybe put 2 on this list.
Really?
There was a couple really, really good ones. As a overall production, I'm a much bigger fan of the WCW ones.
Yeah.
But a couple of them towards the end got really shitty. You know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah.
And there's a couple of the WWE ones. Era. Yeah, a couple of the WWE ones are really good. But I will say, here's the thing: after watching them all back to back, there is a very, very strategic formula that does not break away a lot. You know what I mean? Start out with your 2 guys, insert this person who brings the weapons in, insert spot off the top of the cage, insert stare down. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of repeated spots in it. I will say,
but that doesn't surprise me. And I'll tell you why. Look who's booked 90% of these War Game matches. It's Triple H, right?
Mm-hmm.
Triple H has been doing the W because it's a NXT thing. Triple H has done a lot of these. Triple H is a huge Dusty mark, and you know that. You know? So he took Dusty's formula and didn't really stray from it, right?
Yes. Sorry, I thought you had more to your point there.
No, I'm just saying it makes sense to me that he would have a formula for these because it's Dusty's.
Yeah, and I mean he kind of changed the first one a little bit, but other than that, it's been pretty similar. And you know, minus the top on the cage, and there's no blood, obviously. But yeah, I just prefer the old school ones better. Are you okay over there?
Oh, can I tell you something? Okay, listen, I'm gonna pull the the proverbial skin back here. I had a vasectomy just a couple days ago.
Oh yes, old Thanos. I almost introduced you as Thanos today.
Well, here's the thing. Oh fuck, man. Thanos is a joke because I described my ball sack as looking like Thanos to you in the car on the way to the show yesterday. Man, it's gotten worse. It doesn't look like Thanos anymore. It looks like the Executioner. It is fucking black, dude. Just fucking oh yeah. It like I got Terry Gordy in a shitty 1996 mask on my fucking scrot right now. It's horrible. Yeah. Anyways, enjoy that image.
Well, I don't know how I can really top that one there, Executioner balls. So why don't we just get right into the list? All right. Number 7, I'm going to 2019. I'm going with Team Rhea Ripley versus Team Shayna Baszler. So that is Rhea Ripley, Tegan Knox, Candice LeRae, and Dakota Kai. That's going up against Bianca Belair, Kaylee Ray, Io Shirai, and Shayna Baszler. I just thought this was a pretty good match. It's the first women's War Games match. Most memorable for Dakota Kai's heel turn on Tegan Knox, putting the women at a disadvantage. But in all reality, this was the Rhea Ripley coming out party. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. This whole weekend, because then the next night she was the big survivor at Survivor Series, right? So it was basically a 4-on-2 handicap match for most of it. I'm not going to break down like all the matches because it just like, it's War Games. These are all like hour matches, right? But just a couple points, like Bianca Belair really stood out as something special in this match as well. It was also a big coming out party for her, right?
Name a time she didn't though. Like she was standing out from the minute she fucking stepped foot in NXT. We knew she was something special. It took me time to grow on Ripley. It took me time to grow on Dakota. Bianca, I think we knew we had something special really fast with her.
Yeah. And the big finish was Rhea getting the pin on Shayna, which would set up their title match. And, just overall, it was a good outing by the women on this one. The first ever women's War Games match. I did think that, the 4-on-2 kind of took away from it a little bit. If it was to be a traditional match, I think it might have been a little bit lower on my list. But if you fast forward a couple years later, my number 6, we're sticking with the women. Team Raquel Gonzalez versus Team Toxic Attraction from 2021. So that would be Team Gonzalez, which is Io Shirai, Cora Jade, Raquel Gonzalez, and Kaylee Ray, going up against Mandy Rose, JC James, Gigi Dolan, and Dakota Kai. Another really fun match here. Io Shirai especially was fantastic in this match. Gigi Dolan really carries herself as a star in this match as well.
She proved right there what I already knew about her. I've been a fan of Priscilla Kelly for years. You know what I mean? I've been a fan of her for a long time. She is now doing in WWE what I always knew she would be able to do. And I think this was the first match where everybody else is like, oh, okay, yeah. This is a great outing by Gigi.
Yeah. The real star of this match, though, to me was Cora Jade. She did a big angle where she jumped off the top of the cage and really started selling her arm and shoulder. And just like her selling was absolutely fantastic. And she ended up scoring the pin for her team. But really go out of your way to watch the last half of this match once all the competitors get in and really take note of Cora Jade. I thought she was fantastic in this match.
Remind me though, Raquel Gonzalez had a hell of an outing on this one too, did she not?
Yes, Raquel got the big move on it, but it was actually Raquel Gonzalez the year before that had her coming out party. And okay. That was the one year before. I must be.
Oh yeah, because she had hers during the what's it called? The super. What did they call it? The
Thunderdome, whatever. Shit. This one was also in the Thunderdome as well, but she had the first Thunderdome one. Yeah.
Okay. Right.
My number 5, we're gonna go a little more recent here, and we're going with this year. And I really enjoyed the Bloodline against Team Drew McIntyre.
I'm so happy you put this on here because you and I discussed this a while back, and I was afraid that the match quality itself was going to kind of take away, and you weren't going to let the story speak for the match. And I think while the match itself wasn't horrible, it definitely wasn't. Sami Zayn doesn't do bad. Like Sami Zayn doesn't put on bad matches. Neither do the Usos, as far as I'm concerned. So you have a lot of incredible talent in here. Now, the only reason they say that about the actual physical content of the match is because does it stand up to some of the greats? No, it doesn't. But from a story standpoint, from watching things unfold in this match, it's one of my favorite War Game matches.
Yeah.
Just from an entertainment standpoint.
I really like the story, like you said. Roman wants to get Jay and Sammy on the same page. You know what I mean? And so, like, when Jay's down 2-1, which is always weird when the faces have the advantage too, it really takes away from the War Games match. But I get it. You can't have every match. I'm not a fan of it. But I get it. You can't have every single.
No.
And it made sense in this one, yeah.
In this instance, it made sense.
When the next participant came to tie it up, it was going to be Jimmy Uso coming out, and Roman stops him and sends Sammy instead. Very, very good. That. Sammy constantly throughout the match trying to save Jay. Jay super kicks Sammy in the match. And then the finish where, Sammy makes his call, doesn't side with Kevin Owens, who had the best Dusty Rhodes attire on. I really enjoyed that tribute as well. But Sol Siaki also looked really good in this match.
Solo is really impressing me this year.
Yeah. And then, obviously Sammy makes his call, hits Owens with the low blow. Jey Uso off the top, which was a nice touch that Sammy gave the pin to Jay. And
can we say something here that this is a match involving the Brawling Brutes, and we're not even fucking talking about them yet?
Well, that's
how good this match is. The fact that we haven't talked about those guys yet, and they're so good.
I do want to say there are two people that I think could be in contention for WWE War Games NXT MVPs. One of them is Adam Cole, and the other one is Pete Dunne. And I'm going to give my vote to Pete Dunne.
Yeah, I got you there, man. His name is Butch, by the way.
No, it is not. It is always Pete Dunne. And Pete Dunne, by the way, Pete Dunne, watching him mutilate people's hands in these War Game matches has been brutal. Some of my favorite shit, man. Michael Cole had a great line in this match. He said, where is it? Cole said it best, in a sick kind of way, Dunne is fun to watch.
Yeah.
And I agree, man. I put in my notes, I could literally watch Pete Dunne bend people's joints all day. He does like great stuff where he takes their fingers and puts them in the cage and bends them back through the fingers and shit. Yeah, it's really good stuff here. But speaking of
one last thing I just want to talk about this match real quick is something that Roman Reigns has been doing. I love, not just in this match, but all year, I love how subtle Roman Reigns can be. Roman has mastered the art of less is more. I love how he held himself in that cage. And I'm talking about the small cage, the cage you sit in while you wait to get to the big cage. I love how he just sat there silently watching. And then he would just, you go. He's so methodical, so smart. This character has turned into something that I never thought Roman Reigns could be, and I loved watching it in that environment. It was so good.
Yeah, I agree, man. And Roman Reigns, like I've said this, I don't know if I've said it on air, if I've just said it to you in private, but all of his matches now have Undertaker at WrestleMania 100%. Vibes, and it's the same thing watching Mickey James in Impact Wrestling right now, and it adds that layer of excitement. And I think that's why we're going to be talking about Roman a lot in our year-end show, because it's just a big thing. But I mentioned two names. I mentioned Adam Cole and I mentioned Pete Dunne. Let's talk about both these guys, actually, because they're in my number 4. We're going Undisputed Era versus Ricochet, Pete Dunne, and the Viking Raiders, or the War Raiders at this point.
The War Raiders, yeah. This was a fun match. This is a real fun match.
Adam Cole and Ricochet started, and needless to say, it was absolutely fantastic. These guys have beat the hell out of each other. Then Pete Dunne comes in a little bit later, or Dunne was about to come in. I think they did this a couple times where Dunne was about to come in, and the guys just kept pushing him back and letting somebody else come in. The match is really, really good. All the hot tags are really, really good in it. When Pete Dunne comes out, obviously it's fantastic. What do we got? Undisputed Era just getting the beat down with weapons. There's just great flow to this match. Nice transitions from the heels and the faces and the back and forth being in control. You got your Tower of Doom spot, which always, check off another staple in these matches. This was the first time that they did the standoff spot, though. and it was really, really, really well done. There was just way too much crazy shit to go on to call the finish, but the only thing that hurt, Pete Dunne and Ricochet both hit their finishes, but the camera missed the pin on the Ricochet dive. They missed it totally, so it kind of took away a little bit. Double pin, Dunne and Ricochet stand tall on top of the cage after. I thought that was a great moment.
Very cool, yeah.
What do you remember about this match at all? I know you said this is one that you liked.
I did like it. You just kind of went through the highlights of it, of what I remember. I haven't watched it since the day it aired. Like I've never gone back and rewatched it, but I do remember, like when you said you were going to do this list, I remember thinking, okay, this is one he's going to talk about.
Yes. Maybe a bit of a surprise is my number 3. I know a lot of people don't like this, but I think people like this match, so I think it's well placed. Okay. NXT 2.0 versus NXT Black and Gold from 2021. This was a great match.
I don't know if I really remember this.
NXT 2.0, and I don't know a lot of the guys on this team because I don't watch 2.0. Braun Breaker, Grayson Waller, Tony D'Angelo, and Carmella Hayes going up against Ciampa, Gargano, Pete Dunne, and LA Knight. By the way, unpopular opinion, I've just never been an LA Knight fan. What was he in Impact? What was his name in Impact? He'd call everyone dummies. Adam's yelling at me right now.
I'm yelling at you right now. I'm yelling at myself right now. Why can't
he was the world champion.
Fuck off.
Now we are going to get a nasty text message.
It's on the tip of my. It's on the tip of my tongue.
I know he teamed with Adonis, Chris Adonis. Yeah, it's gone. Sorry, Adam. Sorry, Rob. I can't do it without.
I kept wanting to say. I want to say Drake Maverick. It's not Eli Drake.
Eli Drake. There you go. Haha. Do not yell at us. We have redeemed ourselves.
I'm like Drake Maverick. That's Rockstar Spud. Like this is Drake.
I'm just happy that I got some more Pete Dunne, so I'm good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Always loving me some Butch.
Gargano. This was Gargano's last NXT match until he made his return. And he came out to his old Johnny wrestling music. And let me tell you, you could have thought that the biggest star in the world came out in this building. Just a massive, massive start. Him and Carmelo Hayes start the match. Might be the best start out of any of the War Games matches that we saw. The best 5-minute period. These guys were on fire. I'm not going to go through all the spots here. We got the nice DIY reunion spot. You know what I mean? Braun Breaker is supposed to use bolt cutters to get into the ring, and he can't open the door. He can't use them. It took him forever to open the thing. It was really awkward, but he came in and did it good. Ciampa was the last guy out. He's the NXT champ at the time. They were building towards Ciampa and Gargano and Braun Breaker here. I like that Gargano used a crutch to save Ciampa in this match, kind of a throwback.
I love that too. Yeah. That's cool.
Waller got put through a table with a huge belly-to-belly off the top. Waller returns the favor with an elbow off the top of the cage through a table on Knight. That was really incredible. He really got some hang type on that. Breaker ends up getting the pin on Ciampa, hits him with a huge spear through a table, and then he does a press slam and does like the Goldberg kind of slam for the pin. This was a great match. I would highly recommend checking this one out.
This is your number 3?
Yes.
All right. I have seen clips of this match. Like I've seen clips of the Ciampa spot and stuff like that. I've never seen this match.
I would recommend it. I really would.
Well, you're number 3. I would hope so.
Yeah, I would recommend it. I'm not, I wasn't a big fan of a lot of these WWE War Games matches, but I was a big fan of this one. So highly, highly recommend it. Number 2, I would also highly recommend because it's my number 2. Undisputed Era versus Tommaso Ciampa, Keith Lee, Dijakovic, and a mystery partner.
I'm a little torn on what I think your number 1 is because I expected this to be your number 1.
It was going to be my number 1 until I watched my number 1, and my number 1 is my number 1. Undisputed Era. I'm going to go a little more detailed in my number 2 and my number 1 since I flew through this list pretty quick. And I watched all these matches 2 weeks ago, so a lot of stuff is hazy in my head. All these matches really blend together when you watch them 11 in a row. Undisputed Era looks so badass holding all the belts coming out, by the way. Like, just awesome. Ciampa and Roddy start this one off. They had good back and forth, but nothing too crazy, just solid wrestling for 5 minutes. Kyle O'Reilly comes out next. I don't know if you know this or not. He's a really good wrestler. He's fantastic. Dijakovic comes out next. Not a whole lot's happening. Bobby Fish comes out. This one, though, I really liked it because it had more of an old school War Games feel to it. Like, the match has been really good, but they haven't been doing like all the crazy shit that like NXT War Games does. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The crowd was so behind Keith Lee here. They were so ready for him to come in. And just watching him get in the ring, he reminds me of the Hulk. Like, he's so strong and so fast.
Yeah.
Like, he's just like, his offense looked incredible. He's got the crowd pumped
was
up.
It?
The match.
Was it Adam Cole? He did that spot too, where he just fucking chucked him into the crowd.
I don't remember. It wasn't in this match. If it was,
No. I'm just talking about the strength of fucking Keith Lee.
Yeah, I mean, he's crazy.
This spot was where somebody was running after him, and he just fucking checked him, and the guy flew into the crowd. I want to say it was Adam Cole. Oh man!
Speaking of Adam Cole,
the guy is crazy strong.
He's the next one out here. Bit of a change because Adam Cole usually starts the War Games matches off, but he didn't start this one off. Cole comes out. He puts 5 tables in the ring, but for some reason, and this is what I don't like, he set a table up against the barricade on the outside, which. Like, why would you ever do that? And then, shockingly enough, he gets slammed through that table before he gets in the ring. Because that's the rule in WWE War Games. They don't have a lid on it. If you exit the cage, you're eliminated. Your team is disqualified. So you have to be in the cage, which is I like that, actually. I do.
Okay.
Clock counts down for the mystery man. No music hits. The heels are very, very happy. Very well timed out. Maybe about 40 seconds later, Kevin Owens' music hits. Monster pop as he makes his return to NXT. Crowd is just going crazy. Owens cleans house. Owen and Cole have great back and forth between the cages there. I think Cole hits a Canadian Destroyer on like that metal grate that holds the cages together.
Right. Yeah.
And
that's a protected move in WWE. Like, they don't allow the Canadian Destroyer a whole lot.
Cole used it a fair amount.
But not like fucking on the indies or in AEW. You know what I mean? Like oh shit.
Daddy duty. Timeout. Crisis averted. Daddy duty is done. And my list is almost done as well. Let's get back into my number 2 here. We got Roddy gets chokeslammed through a table by Dijakovic, which takes him out of the match. Kyle hooks Dijakovic in a triangle, who they get on a table. Kevin Owens hits a huge frog splash to the table, takes all them out. Tower of Doom spot, blah, blah, blah. Everyone's out. Cole and Ciampa are brawling on top of the cage. And then the craziest finish that you will ever see in your entire life, where Ciampa hits that fucking, I don't even know what they call it, but that dive off the top through the tables. My God, that was insane. Ciampa gets the win. That was the craziest finish I've ever seen.
Would you say it's a toss-up for me anyways? And because of matches like this, it's a toss-up between Gargano and Ciampa for like the ultimate MVP of NXT. The all-time MVP.
I give it to Gargano personally. Just because he was healthier longer as well.
True.
And I just think that there's a lot of forgotten matches that Gargano had that were really good, like against Kushida. You know what I mean? Like, he had like these little hidden gems, like, but there was a while
where 90% of Ciampa's stuff was either with Gargano or against Gargano.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it to Gargano. I think Gargano might be like Mr. NXT of all time, personally.
If we were to do a list, which we may do one day, who knows?
It's not a bad idea.
Gargano's definitely in the top 2, I think. The 2 spot for me, it would be going back and forth for me between the 3 guys: Ciampa, Owens, and Rollins.
Oh, you got to have Adam Cole in that conversation. Not Rollins. I don't think Rollins. Rollins wasn't there. So? He wasn't there long enough.
He's definitely on my list. Maybe you're right about not top 3. He's on my list though. He's on my.
I don't think he makes my list.
Wow.
I don't think that just so he was the inaugural champion. What else did he do in NXT?
He was the face of NXT for a while for me. Like he's the reason I watched NXT for a bit. You know,
he was only there for a cup of coffee, though.
Oh.
I think you're.
I like this is the kind of list you'd have to do real research for, but like I'm just going hypothetically right now. But.
Like I think you got to take a look at guys like I would put over him personally Finn Balor, Shinsuke Nakamura, Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens, you know, even like guys like Neville. Like Neville had a huge run with the NXT title, right?
Sami
Zayn had a great run, right? Take Kyle O'Reilly had a great run. Roddy's had a great run. Like Aleister Black, you know what I mean? There's just a lot of Ricochet.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I just don't think that that Rollins has done enough in NXT to put him on that list.
Yeah, your argument is very sound, and you're already convincing me that I'm wrong on that one.
Well,
that's not what we're talking about here today, but one of these days, I think this list is going to happen.
I know our good friend and our better enemy, which that show is now back on our YouTube channel.
He's not allowed to do an NXT list with us because I know what he wants to do.
He wants to do NXT 2.0, which we don't watch, so it'll be an interesting show. But Good Friends, Better Enemies podcast back on the Count It Out YouTube page.
Their very first episode dropped just 3 days ago.
Yes, that is correct. Return. Okay, let's see if I can convince you on if my number one should be my number one, because you said you had two in your mind.
Okay, yeah, I'm very hazy. I don't, because your number two is what I would have called my number one. Go for it, man. I'm not sure what this could be.
My number one is Undisputed Era versus Team Pat McAfee.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
This match was amazing. Absolutely amazing.
This is definitely top three for me, probably two. I don't think it beats out the other match, but I let's talk about it. I like it.
What was your other one that I didn't have then?
You said I never said yeah. No, I didn't say I had two. I said your number two.
Oh, I thought you said you had two in your mind. Sorry, I misunderstood that. I'm gonna go through this one. So this is Undisputed Era versus Team Pat McAfee. Team McAfee is Pete Dunne. Let's go. Danny Burch, Oni Lorcan, and Pat McAfee. Kyle Dunn and Pete Dunne. Kyle Dunn? Should I try that again? Dunn. Kyle O'Reilly and Pete Dunne start this match off, and already this is the greatest match I've ever watched in my entire life. These guys were. I might have to take my comment back about Gargano and Hayes as the best 5 minutes, because the mat wrestling and counters that these guys did, this felt like a real fight, man.
You didn't even bring up the name Pete Dunne. Well, I guess Pete Dunne's more of a UK guy, isn't he?
Yeah, but you know what? He's had a great NXT run, though. Like, by the way, while we're talking about Pete Dunne, I just want to put this out there that the WWE not letting Pete Dunne be Pete Dunne anymore, I think it's a huge mistake. Butch is entertaining, and don't get me wrong, I don't hate on Butch like everybody else does, but Pete Dunne is just different. He was already different, you know what I mean?
By the time Triple H came in, the Brawling Brutes had already established themselves. They were getting there. They were getting over. You don't fuck with something when it's over.
True,
Triple H is smart enough. Triple H is smart enough not to fuck with them right now. And even something as small as just letting him go by Pete Dunne, it fucks with the stable.
Yeah, you're right.
You let the stable ride it out. And once the stable isn't over anymore, or once you break up the stable, once you put Pete Dunne by himself, then you change him back to the bruiserweight.
Yeah, you're right.
Then you let him go and you be Pete Dunne on the main roster. I think Triple H is smart enough to go that route. I just think he's smart enough not to fuck with something while it's over. That's all.
No, and you're not wrong about that. You're not wrong. I could definitely. I love the tease, by the way. The McAfee's team has the advantage, and as the next guy's about to come up, Pat McAfee pretends like he's gonna walk out, and then he's like, "No, you get out there, Oni Lorcan." Like, I just thought Pat McAfee. Spoiler alert: the guy's awesome. Everybody. Lorcan's out. He's out instead. These guys.
What are your thoughts on Lorcan?
I liked him. I liked his tag team.
Too.
I like the tag team these guys had.
I read today that he's got a backstage position in WWE somewhere.
Oh, really?
I don't know if there's any truth to that, but that's what I read.
Smart. Yeah. These guys are just torturing Kyle O'Reilly. A lot of double submissions, hard strikes. Bobby Fish out next. this match has already picked up a lot of steam, and we're only, the first 2 periods done now. I just love though how every time Pete Dunne is touching somebody, he's bending them. Every time he grabs somebody, he's like, just little things. I can watch it all day. He is a fucking evil bastard, man. Great tag team brawling between these guys in submission. Danny Burch is out next. He brings out a big cricket bat, which was awesome. Don't see that a lot. And what does Pete Dunne do? He grabs it, and instead of hitting somebody, he grinds it into their fucking joints. I was just like, yes, I love everything about this.
That's what he would do.
My note here literally says, I love this man. Commentators also make a Casey Jones reference, so my entire life is complete.
Love it.
Probably the main reason why this is my number 1 match. Roddy's out next. Sidebar, I'd like to see Roderick Strong and Braun Breaker have a feud and get Roddy a run with that title.
Is Roddy in 2.0 right now?
Yeah.
See, that's how shitty this is. That's how shitty. The fact that Roderick Strong is on that product and I don't know that.
I think he's been hurt though. I do think he's been hurt.
Okay.
Also, I'm really loving this match so far. Makes me feel like I'm watching an old Horsemen Wargame match, but with like a modern twist on it. This one really had that.
I do remember having that feel to it, yeah.
And now, of course, Pat McAfee comes out. This is only his second match ever, by the way, which is awesome. Yeah, there you go. Pat pulls out 4 tables, but each table has the Undisputed Era logo spray painted on it, which I like. He'll set Roddy up through a table, and Pat just hits this beautiful moonsault through the table. Cole's walking into a 4-on-1 basically because the heels have everybody beat down and they're all waiting for him. He sprays them with a fire extinguisher, which I thought was well done. Beats him down with a chair. Adam Cole is on fire. Nice to see him out last instead of first like usual. I said that earlier. All 4 men are brawling like crazy now. This is absolutely amazing. Great figure 4 spot here with all the heels and the faces stopping each other. Undisputed Era tries a power bomb done through a table, but Birch breaks it up. It doesn't break. The table doesn't break, so Roddy just slams everybody through the table off the top. Pat tries to superplex Cole through a table, but Cole just pushes him off, and McAfee goes flying backwards to the table. Looked absolutely incredible. Pat's just left. Undisputed Era is just fucking these guys up now, and now the roles are reversed. It's 4-on-1 against Pat McAfee, and these guys are just laying a beat down. Now all 8 guys are up. They're all hitting crazy moves against each other. You get your classic standoff spot, which was really good here. Pat's on top of the cage as they're all brawling. He does a swanton bomb onto everybody, which is insane. Great spot with Dunn and Kyle O'Reilly. They're like pulling themselves off the ropes, staring at each other. The first guys in the match. They start brawling. I just thought it was cool to see that little throwback to the beginning. Bobby Fish with a spear through a table. We're down to just Cole and McAfee. Cole hits the Panama Sunrise for a great near fall. And then there's just so many amazing moves that happen at the end. I can't even recap it, but the Undisputed Era get the win. This was fucking awesome. If you do not remember this match, go back and rewatch it.
I got 2 things to say before we wrap this match up. Number 1, I'm not one to harp on this subject. I hate it when people always have to bring this shit up. But in this instance, I kind of got to talk about it. How much better would this have been? And don't get me wrong, this is fantastic. This is one of the best war game matches WWE has produced. I agree with you. But how much better visually would this particular match have been if blood was allowed?
If blood was allowed, and if you put it in front of not the Thunderdome?
Yeah, well, take the Thunderdome. See, this match was so good, I forgot it was in front of the fucking Thunderdome.
Yeah, if you put blood in a crowd, this would be a match of the year.
You put that in the crowd, you blade both McAfee and Cole, and they're on top of that fucking cage. That's an image you don't forget for years to come. That's, like I said, I'm not usually one to be like, oh, bad. Every cage match needs blood. Every War Games needs blood. Every Hell in a Cell needs blood. I'm not that guy. I'm really not. This particular match, though, I think could have been pushed a little bit more with a little bit of color. My second thing I want to talk about is the reason this match is a little special to me. This match and this feud in general, this is the time where I started to actually start to respect Pat McAfee. Up until now, I hated him. I couldn't stand him. To me, he was just Gronk. He was like I hated Gronk when Gronk came in. To me, he was no different. He was this ex-NFLer. He was a fucking punter. Who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? Oh, he's the greatest punter of all time. He's a fucking punter. That was my fucking mentality. I don't give a shit about Pat McAfee. He comes in with this shit don't stink attitude. The fucking shorts incident doesn't help his case at all with me. I was with Michael Cole 100% on that. So I don't like Pat McAfee whatsoever up until this point. Then he starts feuding with Adam Cole, and he starts bringing his podcast into the feud. And then this match happens. And after this match, I'm like, holy fuck, I think I'm a Pat McAfee fan. And now I'm a massive Pat McAfee fan. Love the guy.
If 2020 Mike could see 2022 Mike wearing a football hat right now,
you know,
he wouldn't believe it.
Well, that's the other thing too. 2020 Mike didn't know a fucking punter from a fucking tight end. You know what I mean?
And now you know how important punters are.
And I know that he had a deserved fucking Hall of Fame career if they were to put a punter to the Hall of Fame. But back then, to me, it's like, okay, he kicked the ball. Like, he wasn't the quarterback. You know what I mean? He's not Tom fucking Brady, and it makes me sick to my stomach to say that phrase now. But that was my mentality all those years ago, and this is the feud, and this is the match that turned me around on Pat McAfee and said, you know what? This man put in the work. Now it's still going to take a lot of years. If Gronk wants to come back and fucking try to win me over, it's going to take a lot to win for fucking Rob Gronkowski to win me over. But this proved to me that you know, someone like him could put into work, put into love. He loves what he was doing, and he proved that. And this feud really showed that he was putting in the work physically. He was putting in the work from a storyline. Like, he was doing the whole package, and it was working. And you know what I'm going to give him credit for? I think Pat McAfee, the fact that he was able to win me over like that, made it easier for a guy like Logan Paul to win me over. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He paved the way for a guy like Logan Paul to come in, and I'd be like, okay, if Pat McAfee can put in the work, maybe Logan Paul could, and he did. You know what I mean? So
I'm going to call a prediction right now.
Okay.
I say Pat McAfee is a surprise entrance in the Royal Rumble match this year.
100%. They already said that he was coming back in the early 2023. What a way to bring him back. I think that 2023 could be the year of returns in the Royal Rumble. They haven't really done it in a big way in the last few years. They haven't.
We had Ronda last year and Mickey.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. They haven't really like hyping up. I think this year could be fucking huge.
Yeah.
For people coming into the Royal Rumble.
We're already hearing the Rock rumors, man.
The Rock rumors. There are people, man. With Triple H being interested in a world where Triple H is allowing Nakamura to fight in Noah.
Carl Anderson's fighting in New Japan.
In this world, who's to say Jay White won't be in the Royal Rumble?
Hey, we saw Mickey James with Impact Wrestling as the Knockouts champion in the Rumble last year, man. Wrestling's wild right now.
And we're going to talk about that shortly in the new year. I'm working on a list right now of 7 ways the WWE can use the Royal Rumble to set up the year 2023 for success. Uh-huh. And I think this could be the most important Royal Rumble in recent history. With that said, I don't know if you read this today. Did you read the stats on the Royal Rumble today?
I don't know. I haven't seen anything. No.
I want to see if I can find them, if I save them or not. The Royal Rumble's already sold out.
Well, shocking.
But it's already done record numbers as far as sellout and all that stuff. I want to see if I can find. No, I didn't save them. Of course, I'm an idiot. If I find them later, I'll send them to you personally and we'll talk about it. But this is already going to be that it is for the Royal Rumble what Survivor Series was to Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Survivor Series was the biggest Survivor Series, the best buy rate Survivor Series has done in, I think they said 20, 30 years. Like, big fucking numbers. And the Royal Rumble is going to be that for 23. It's a great start to this year. I think the Royal Rumble is going to be massive. Already the names that Triple H has brought back, the names that are already there, the storylines being told, the people who potentially could come back. We didn't even mention Cody Rhodes yet. The potential of Cody Rhodes coming into the Royal Rumble
I don't want Cody to return at the Rumble. I don't, because I don't want Cody to win the Rumble, and I think it's a waste of his return.
I understand that, but from a business standpoint, I can understand why most fans do.
From a business standpoint, I want Cody to get a Triple H return. Give me promo packages and hype him up to come out at Elimination Chamber, set up a Mania match. Now,
you and I are a very different fan from today's fan, though.
If you are going to bring Cody back at the Rumble, then I want to see him get eliminated by somebody that's going to set up his Mania match.
Yeah.
It's too soon for Cody to go for the title. I think Cody should be the guy to beat Roman. I said it last year. I'm sticking to it, but it's still too soon.
Please, somebody go and make a video of Cody Rhodes to A Beautiful Day by you two.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Well,
man, I enjoyed your list, buddy. I really did.
It was fun to watch. I like the old War Games matches better, but it was fun to watch these ones.
I can't think of any that you missed. And I don't have a whole lot of honorable mentions. From recent memory, because I just watched it, I did enjoy the women's War Games match this year.
It was good. 22. It was good. I had it on my original list, and then I did some rechanging. I don't think
it would have been on my list, but it's a definite honorable mention.
Yeah, the first War Games match was good too. Undisputed Era, Team Roddy, Team Sanity was really good. We had.
By the way, something that we can finally put these little pieces together. You noticed in that opening match at Survivor Series, Nikki Cross came out to the Sanity theme song.
Eric Young is. We didn't even talk about that this week.
I know who's rumored to be going back in a few weeks.
Mr. Eric Young.
Eric Young.
I would like to see a Sanity reunion.
So would I. Who? Oh, could that mean our boy Fulton could go back?
Now
I know he was never a big member, but it'd be cool.
Now we're talking. Well, I'm excited to hear your Royal Rumble list. But before we get there, you have a list to do next week. I don't know what it is yet. I don't know if you know what it is yet. But
I don't even know. I have about four. I have 4 rotating lists right now. I don't know what I'm going to do. The only thing I can tell you right now is going to have to do with the end of 2022. We are wrapping up the year. Our next 3 shows are our end of year shows. I'm going to do some kind of list next week. I don't know if it's going to be best indie wrestlers of the year, best indie matches of the year, something like that. I'm not sure yet. It's going to be something best of the year. And then, and Tyler and I are going to just shoot the shit about our favorite things of 2022. Following that, some of them. Then following
not the big ones, because they're saved for the next week.
Well, no, we're going to talk about the big ones because I don't trust any of the big ones are on your fucking list.
You know what my list is, and you know it's awesome.
Yeah.
My list is good this year.
My list would be very different than yours.
I want to hear it off air.
However, the following after next week, the next 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks of the year, we're going back to format. We're doing what we do every single year. We did it in 20, we did it in 21, we're doing it in 22. It's a 2-part show where we are counting down the 7 greatest I don't want to say kayfabe moments, but on-screen moments.
Yeah, I'm not doing like the biggest news stories.
Yes.
So
this is what we gotta say, because last year we called it stories.
Yeah, you wanted to do biggest stories. So I'm doing biggest moments.
Yes. So that's why I'm making it very clear to our audience. When I don't want anybody sitting there going, "You didn't fucking talk about Vince retiring." That's because that's not what this list is.
Yes.
Would that be on my list? 100%.
Well, if we were doing the biggest news stories of the year, it'd be number 1 with a bullet. Like, you don't get bigger than Vince, but
but that's not the list that Tyler is doing this year. Tyler's doing on-screen stories.
On-screen moments.
Yeah.
On-screen moments.
So that look forward to that we'll be doing that for 2 weeks. And for every number 7 through 1, we're going to have a special guest on to talk about that moment with us. Now we already spoiled and teased who's going to be on the show.
We didn't spoil it. You did.
What we didn't tell you is what they're going to be talking about and what order they're coming on. So you have no idea which week whether or not Vince Russo is going to be number 7, number 2. You don't know. Is he going to be on next week, the week after? You guys don't know that. You do know he's going to be around, but you got to listen each week to see when he pops in. I'm really excited for the end of your show. The end of your show is always a big thing for us. We always have a lot of fun. We bring in friends. We bring in guests. We bring in people that we've never talked to. It's so fun. And then we have big plans for 2023, man. Great way to end a great year.
Yes. And I can't think of a better way to end our show this week, man. Take it home, my friend.
On behalf of everything that we've done so far and all the things we're going to do very soon, man, check in next week for the beginning of the end. We have been counted out.
Cheers.